So following on from some of the earlier videos, we've been trying to integrate one polynomial over another polynomial. We've always demanded that the degree of p is strictly less than the degree of q. And we've seen this case here where all the factors are different. So we've seen this, and then we've also seen where some of the factors are repeated. So we've seen this case here. And in this video, we're going to look at this. In the future, we will look at a case where the degree of p is bigger than the degree of q. So this here is for the future, but in this video we will look at this. Okay, so in all these three cases here, we demand that the degree of p must be strictly less than the degree of q. Okay, so in this video we're going to look at this. So let's just give you an example. So let's just look at this. If you want to integrate something like this, then try to break this thing up into one fraction plus another fraction. Where if you look at this here, this is an irreducible quadratic. So if you have something like this, x squared minus 25, you can break this up. You can break this up to x plus 5, and then x minus 5. You see, if you look at so in this case here, this is not really a quadratic factor because you can break it up into two linear factors. Whereas if you look at this one here, you can't break it up any further because, well, if you have x squared minus 1, then yes, you can break this up. You can break this up to x plus 1 and then x minus 1. You can break it up. But this here is a positive, so you can't break it any further. So this here is considered a quadratic factor. Okay, so in a case of you having a quadratic factor, then try to break it up as one fraction plus another fraction, where this here is really to the power of 1 here. This is to the power of 2. So your job is to try and find a, b, and c, where this thing here matches exactly up to this thing here. So you're trying to rewrite this in this form here. But the trick is to find out a, b, and c. Okay. So starting from here, when you're trying to integrate something of this form here, you want to try and break it up into this form, into this fraction plus this fraction. So from here, times both sides, well, times everything by x minus 1. So here, let's times this by x minus 1, and times this by x minus 1. Times this by x minus 1, and then this side here times this by x minus 1. So looking at this, these two will cancel out. These two will cancel out. And then let's just leave this as it is, and then we can say let x equals 1, and then when you let x equals 1, then if you put it into here, this whole thing here will disappear. Okay, and then that will allow you to, well, let's start again. So from here, in your mind, multiply everything by this thing here. So, well, when you're here, multiply everything by x minus 1. So looking at this here, if you multiply by x minus 1, this thing will disappear. So this whole thing here will become this, and then when you multiply this by x minus 1, this will disappear. When you multiply this by x minus 1, you will get this, x minus 1. So now let x equals 1. So when you put x equal, so looking at this here, if you let x equals 1, this thing here will become 1 squared over, and then put 1 into here. So that will be 1 squared plus 1. That will be 2. So this thing here will be a, and then if you put 1 into here, then this thing here will be 0. So times 0, so this whole thing disappears. So a must equal a half. So when you let x equals 1, then a must be a half. Okay. So now hang on. Now going back to this thing here. So we know a equals a half. Okay, so now we need to somehow find b and c. So looking at this here, try to merge these two fractions together. Okay, so merge these two fractions together. So this one here times top and bottom by x squared plus 1, and then here x squared plus 1, and then this one here times top and bottom here by this thing here, x minus 1, and then x minus 1, and then the two denominators will be the same, and then you can merge them. Well, merging these two now will give you this. Okay. Now, if these two are exactly the same, then you can say x squared equals this thing here. Okay. So looking back at this here now. So let's start again here. So we were here. We now know A. We need to somehow find B and C. To find B and C, merge these two fractions together. That will then give you this. Now looking at this here, these two are exactly the same. So if you want, you can times both sides by this thing here, and then these two will cancel out, leaving you this thing here. The point is that when you're at this stage here, you can actually say that this thing equals this thing here. So that will then take us to this. Okay, I will continue in the next video.